Have you ever felt that strange ache in your heart when someone you deeply care for suddenly begins to drift away? They don't vanish completely, but something shifts. Their tone changes. Their energy feels quieter, more distant. You can sense it even before words are spoken. The connection that once felt alive and effortless now feels fragile, like something you have to hold carefully so it doesn't break. You start to overthink. You wonder what you did wrong. You search for a reason, a moment, an answer. But what if that silence, that space, isn't rejection at all? What if it's actually proof that they care more deeply than you realize? Carl Jung understood this paradox better than anyone. He saw that when two souls truly connect, something powerful and unsettling happens inside both people. The meeting of two personalities, he wrote, is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Think about that. Real connection doesn't just comfort you, it changes you. It dissolves old walls, it exposes hidden fears, and it forces your soul to evolve. And for many people, that transformation is terrifying. When love or care reaches a certain depth, it touches the places we've tried to keep untouched, the fears we've buried, the pain we've learned to suppress, the self we've never fully accepted. So instead of leaning in, we instinctively pull back. We pull away not because we don't care, but because caring too much touches a part of us that still hurts. Jung believed that the human psyche resists growth before it embraces it. The heart resists healing before it's ready to expand. So when someone withdraws, when they grow quieter after showing affection, it might not be a sign of indifference. It might be a sign that your presence has stirred something deep inside them, something they need time to understand. You see, connection isn't just about what happens between two people. It's also about what happens within them. Jung often spoke about the unconscious, the hidden realm of the psyche where all our unprocessed emotions, fears, and forgotten desires live. Every meaningful relationship, he said, awakens parts of that unconscious. Love, friendship, even brief human encounters, they act like mirrors. Through them, we begin to see our own reflection, and not just the pretty parts, but the ones we've denied or neglected. When someone cares about you, your presence mirrors something powerful in them. You awaken not only their tenderness, but also their shadow, the unhealed parts of their story. You remind them of their longing, their vulnerability, their own unmet needs. And that's where the pulling away begins. Because when the shadow rises, the ego panics. The ego says, this is too much, I need to protect myself. So they step back, they go quiet, they act distant. But inside, they're wrestling with feelings that are bigger than words. Sometimes, people who care the most are the ones who struggle the most to stay close. Because closeness for them is not safe, it's exposing. It brings to light old patterns they've spent years trying to escape. Jung understood this deeply. He knew that every person carries what he called the inner wound, a pain that silently shapes our behavior. And love, true love, has a way of pressing against that wound until it asks to be healed. This is why connection can feel like chaos. It's why someone might laugh with you one moment and retreat the next. They're not confused about how they feel toward you. They're confused about how to face what they feel inside themselves. When Jung entered his own period of intense inner turmoil, what he called his confrontation with the unconscious, he withdrew from the world. Friends thought he had lost his mind. He spent years alone recording dreams, visions, and inner dialogues in what would later become the Red Book. But in truth, Jung was not escaping. He was facing his own soul. He was doing what every person must eventually do when love or life awakens their hidden depths. He was listening to the silence. So when someone pulls away, try to see beyond the surface. Their retreat might not mean they've stopped caring. It might mean that caring has pushed them into an inner journey they weren't prepared to take. They might need time to process emotions they can't yet name, time to understand why they feel so vulnerable around you, time to make peace with parts of themselves that have suddenly been awakened. When you care for someone deeply, your energy lingers around them. Even in silence, even across distance, they feel it. Jung said that what we call coincidences in relationships are often manifestations of what he termed as synchronicity, a mysterious connection between two psyches that transcends logic. You think of them, and suddenly they reach out. You feel their presence, even when they're miles away. That invisible thread doesn't disappear when someone withdraws. It only quiets for a while, waiting for both souls to grow into the next version of themselves. So how do you know when distance hides care? You feel it. It's in the way their absence doesn't feel final. It's in the energy that still hums beneath the silence. When someone truly doesn't care, you feel a clean break. The air goes still. There's no tension, no pull, no unfinished sentence. But when someone does care and pulls away, the connection remains alive. It feels incomplete. It feels like something's still being written. There's a warmth in their silence, a subtle heaviness in the air, as if emotion is suspended between two hearts. They may not say it out loud, but you can sense it in small ways, in the softness of their last message, in the gentleness of their eyes before they withdrew, in the fact that they left quietly instead of destructively. These are not the signs of indifference. These are the signs of someone trying to protect something fragile, something real. And perhaps the most mature act of love is to allow that space, to not chase, to trust that what is real does not need to be forced. Jung taught that the psyche moves in cycles of expansion and contraction, just like nature. Everything alive breathes in and breathes out. Relationships do too. Connection, distance, reflection, return. It's not failure, it's rhythm. The rhythm of growth. If you can honor that rhythm, if you can stay steady while someone takes the space they need, you create room for something sacred to happen. You allow transformation instead of control. You become a witness rather than a pursuer, and that patience, quiet, grounded, open, is what turns ordinary love into something truly healing. This doesn't mean ignoring your own pain. It's okay to miss them. It's okay to feel the ache. That ache is not weakness. It's evidence of your capacity to care without needing to possess. Jung believed that love is not about fusion, it's about awareness. To love someone is to see them as they are, even in their confusion, even in their distance, and to still hold space for them without losing yourself. So, when someone you love steps back, ask yourself, what is this moment teaching me about my own shadow, about my fear of being alone, my desire for control, my need for certainty? The unconscious uses relationships to show us the parts of ourselves we've ignored. Sometimes their silence is the mirror that reveals your own unrest. And here's something most people don't realize, even your anxiety, your overthinking, your restlessness when they pull away, all of that is part of your individuation process. Individuation, for Jung, was the journey toward wholeness, the integration of your light and shadow, your conscious and unconscious. Every heartbreak, every silence, every moment of uncertainty is an invitation to move closer to that wholeness. If you can resist the urge to fix what isn't yours to fix, you'll start to notice something shift inside you. You'll find peace not because they returned, but because you stopped abandoning yourself. Jung would say that's the moment your soul grows up, the moment you realize that love is not possession, but presence. Sometimes, caring for someone means letting them walk their own path, even if that path temporarily leads away from you. Because love that's rooted in control breeds fear, but love rooted in freedom allows both souls to expand. Jung once said, what you resist persists. The more we fight someone's distance, the more tension we create. The more we let it be, the faster it finds its natural resolution. Think of it like holding water in your hands. If you grip it too tightly, it spills. But if you hold it gently, it stays. So hold gently. Let the connection breathe. Don't interpret their withdrawal as an ending. It might be the very pause that allows something deeper to begin. There are people who love you quietly, from afar. People who think of you in moments they'll never confess. People who replay memories in their mind, not out of regret, but gratitude. Their silence does not mean forgetfulness, it means reverence. Some souls love you so deeply that they step back to avoid hurting you while they figure themselves out. That too is care. And perhaps one day, when the inner storms have settled, they'll return. Not because you demanded it, but because something in their soul recognizes that your energy feels like home. But even if they don't, your love was never wasted. Jung believed that every connection leaves an imprint on the soul. The energy you shared becomes part of who you are. It lives in your unconscious, shaping your growth, your wisdom, your compassion. Nothing real is ever lost. It just transforms. So maybe this is what real love looks like. Not endless togetherness, but endless understanding. The ability to honor another person's journey, even when it moves away from yours. The courage to keep your heart open, even when it's not being met in the way you hoped. Because in truth, people who really care will never truly disappear. They may take time, they may fall silent, but their energy will always find its way back into your life. Sometimes in a message, sometimes in a dream, Sometimes in a quiet moment when you feel their presence for no reason at all. And when that happens, you'll know that nothing was ever broken. It was just evolving. Jung's teachings remind us that the soul doesn't rush. Everything unfolds in divine timing. The unconscious reveals its truth slowly, layer by layer. So if you find yourself waiting, not in desperation, but in quiet acceptance, you're already growing. You're learning to love without conditions. The next time you feel someone pulling away, breathe. Don't fill the silence with panic or stories. Just breathe and observe. Feel what's rising in you. That discomfort is not punishment. It's the shadow surfacing. It's your heart asking to be seen, not by them, but by you. And maybe, just maybe, their distance is the exact medicine your soul needs right now. It's teaching you how to stay soft in uncertainty, how to love without losing your center, how to find peace within your own company. When you can do that, when you can stand in stillness and not chase, you've already mastered one of life's greatest lessons, because real love begins inside you. Everything else is a reflection. So trust the rhythm, trust the distance, trust the return. Jung's wisdom whispers that everything meaningful passes through the valley of silence before it reaches the mountain of truth. If you can walk through that valley with grace, you'll come out not just loving another more deeply, but understanding yourself more completely. Maybe they pulled away because they care too much. Maybe their silence is their way of saying, "This means something to me, and I don't want to ruin it by reacting from fear." Whatever it is, remember this love that is true never leaves. It only transforms, deepens, and waits for the right moment to re-emerge. Let that truth comfort you. Let it steady your heart. And as you sit with this, take a moment to reflect on your own journey. Think about the people who have stepped back from your life, not as a loss, but as part of your becoming. Ask yourself what they've taught you, what they've awakened in you, what they've helped you see. Because in the end, the soul doesn't measure connection by time or proximity. It measures it by growth. If this message resonates with you, if it brings you peace in the middle of uncertainty, remember to take a breath and stay present. You're not being abandoned. You're being invited to awaken. And when you're ready, continue this journey with me in the next reflection, Why Stillness is the Real Key to Alignment. Subscribe, stay connected, and keep growing. Because the people who truly care about you, even if they step away, will always find their way back. Not when you chase them, but when you both become whole enough to meet again. Your story isn't about losing love. It's about learning what love really means. And in the quiet spaces between hearts, that's where it begins again.